All right. Well, the last award of the night goes to someone who I've grown very close to over the years now, since 2018, 2019. His name is Benny Safdie. And Benny, I feel, an extraordinary director, an auteur, and a friend, a brother, and also an inspiration. They had asked me, this award show, hey, do you want a teleprompter? I said, no, I'd rather speak from the heart about Benny. I have an hour. You guys have no place to go, so let's just settle in. I'm only kidding. We'll get you out of here. But I thought, especially for this room, us here as creatives and storytellers and artists and people who just love to do what we do, and so grateful to do what we do, I thought, let me just share a few stories about Benny and then bring them out here. But they're stories I know that you guys would appreciate. And, number one, there's the artistic side about Benny Safdie. There's a creative side about Benny Safdie, and there's this really, I think, unique hunger as a director and as a storyteller about Benny Safdie. And, for example, on the set of Smashing Machine, when it came to the fighting scenes in the ring, Raging Bull with Scorsese and De Niro, that was one of our inspirations. One of Benny's inspirations, Requiem for a Heavyweight, was one of Benny's inspirations too as well. And if you guys remember, and another inspiration was It's a Wonderful Life, which may sound odd, given the givens with It's a Wonderful Life compared to Smashing Machine, but I'll get to that in a moment, and I believe you guys would appreciate it. But as it relates to Requiem for a Heavyweight and Raging Bull, unlike those two films that were our inspiration, Benny imposed a rule in the beginning of the shoot for himself and his camera operators, his DP, Maceo Bishop, an extraordinary DP, also our camera operator. He said the rule is this: when it comes to the fights inside the ring, no cameras will be allowed in the ring. And if you think about that for a moment, you think with films like this, especially when it comes to fighting and the visceral nature of fighting, you want to get in there. We're all storytellers here. You want to get in, you want to get close, you want to get intimate, so the audience hopefully can feel the punches and the pain. Benny felt that, he said, I know it's counterintuitive, but I think if we were never in the ring and we were 2 to 3 rows back and we were fighting the backs of heads of the audience and fighting the ropes and the turnbuckles and the apron, he said, I think that may actually bring the audience in more and connect them to these fights. It's a gutsy move, I think, as a director, and it's counterintuitive, and he did that. And there were never any cameras in the ring. And what you see in Smashing Machine, in these fight scenes, he accomplished what he set out to do, and it actually does bring the audience in more. So they're feeling these moments with the character I played, Mark Kerr, and these other fighters, and of course, Dawn Staples, played by Emily Blunt so brilliantly in the movie. So that was a wild and I think radical thought. And I wanted to give Benny his flowers, especially in this room, especially for this award for Best Director. And he also then took that same strategy and he applied it to the fight scenes. And for those of you who haven't seen Smashing Machine yet, and I can't wait for you to see the movie, there's the fights in the ring, and which were tough, but were tougher were the fights outside of the ring, behind closed doors, between a husband and a wife, myself and Emily Blunt. And what Benny did in those scenes, he said, this may sound crazy, but I think I want to try and do the same thing. And Emily and I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, I'm going to build the house on a soundstage that you live in. I'm going to build it, and I want all the walls to be immovable, okay? I want there to be running water, okay? And I want it to be exactly how they lived in their exact house. So that's what he built. But the reason why he built that was so he could hide all the cameras. So we never saw a camera. We never saw Maceo Bishop hold the camera. And in terms of lighting, there was no lighting stands, no lighting setups. Benny put all the lighting in the ceiling. So by the time we walked into the house, Emily and I, and it was time to kick off, and it was time to have our scenes where, as we've all experienced in some way or another, you know, when you have those fights behind closed doors, things get messy and they get ugly and they get raw, and it's like touching a raw nerve sometimes. And Benny felt that. So by the way, so imagine us as actors, what that does for us walking into the house, where you see no cameras, no cameramen, no lighting set, nothing. It's just our house. And the freedom of that, and what that does for us. And Benny then felt that, you know, if I hid the cameras and every shot, or the majority of the shots, were all kind of long lens, verite, fighting a wall, fighting a corner, he said, I think it may draw the audience in more. Again, I feel like it's a radical move. I've never seen or experienced that before. I've been around a long time. We've all been around a long time. And it paid off. The first time Christopher Nolan saw the movie, he said to Benny, I mean this in the most respectful and complimentary way. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. Like, I feel like I'm violating their space. And it's so counterintuitive as a director. And he goes, I really want to give you credit and flowers for that. And, you know, so those are two reasons, like artistic reasons, why I thought you guys would appreciate why Benny deserves his flowers tonight for something like that. And finally, before I bring him out here, I thought, well, it feels like it's appropriate to just say something personal about Benny from me to him. I've been saying this as we've been talking about Smashing Machine during this time, and talking about the film and performances and direct and Benny, etc. But I say it because I mean it. It's the truth. Is the Smashing Machine has changed my life, and how it's changed my life is, I think, in ways that I never could have imagined, because I didn't realize it then, but I kind of realized it afterwards and towards the end of shooting, which was, oh man, this film changed my life in a way that it's helped me, and I know this sounds funny, but it's helped me discover things about myself that I didn't know. And also discover things about myself that, fuck, I didn't want to know. But I accepted it and embraced it. And I think in order for that kind of thing to happen, as an actor, as an artist, as we all know, I feel like we've all been in these moments before in our lives where it shifts and it clicks, and we realize, oh, that's my anchor. That's the kind of storyteller I want to become, or the filmmaker or the artist or the creative I want to become. But in order, I think, for that to happen, you got to have your partner. And you got to have the maestro, the visionary who believes in you and who sees things that maybe perhaps you don't see yourself. And for me, that was Benny Safdie. So I wanted to give you guys the artistic reasons why he's getting his flowers tonight, and then the personal reason why as well. And so without any further ado, I bring out an extraordinary director and auteur. Oh, and also probably the most important thing is he's a good human being. And I feel like, you know, being a good human being could never go out of style. So, ladies and gentlemen, Benny Safdie.